Yo, 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 what is going on, guys? Joey Sugarmuck is back here with another video for you guys. And it's Saturday. No, it is Friday night. And I'm going to give you my game picks for week, what are we at? 16 of the 2022 NFL season. So, of course, this year it's a little different. Christmas Day lands on a Sunday, so the main slate of games is actually going to be on Saturday, Christmas Eve, and then there's 3 games on Christmas Day itself, plus a Monday night game. So, because the games start, midday tomorrow, it makes more sense to do the video tonight. So let's jump right into it, guys. Coming up, and we're starting it early with the first game, we have the 5-9 Falcons at the 9-5 Ravens. So, obviously, some storylines heading into this game. We'll start with the weather. Going to be pretty miserable. I guess it depends on what you mean by miserable. Cold is the main thing. The sun will be out, but it's going to be cold. In Baltimore, just down the whole East Coast. Big front coming through tonight, so that's going to lead to really cold conditions. Windy, wind chills will be pretty close to 0 around kickoff, so it's going to be a very cold game. So I think to some extent that is an advantage to us because the Falcons, of course, generally play at Atlanta, so they're not used to it. And it's also a rookie quarterback, Desmond Ridder, making his second career start. So we have that working for us. However, our defense is not going to be at full strength tomorrow because Calais Campbell and Marcus Peters are both out. Campbell has a knee injury, Peters has a calf injury. Fortunately, both do not look to be really serious, but they're definitely going to miss a couple games. They'll probably be out for the next couple weeks as well. So we got to make the playoffs if they're going to play again, most likely. So, and then for playoff scenarios, with the Jets losing last night, that's beneficial for the Ravens. And then we need to win tomorrow, and either the Patriots or the Dolphins need to lose. Well, if both of them lose, great, but we need at least one of them. If we win tomorrow and one of those teams loses, we have clinched a playoff berth. We still can get a higher seed, but we are officially in the playoffs if that happens. So, seriously, can we not just make it a big deal? Just get the flippin' win tomorrow. Seriously, that's all we need to do. But while we hoped that Lamar Jackson would be back to play for this game, he is not. He's still out with that PCL sprain, so it's going to be Tyler Huntley playing again. He, too, had an issue with his throwing shoulder earlier, but he'll be playing in this game. And I'm sorry, guys. I think we're the way better team, but I just do not trust us to win with Huntley. We cannot win with Tyler Huntley. We really can't. I know we won with him in for some of the time against Pittsburgh, but we lost last week, and just in these close games, we can't pull them out with Huntley. We simply cannot. And I really don't trust us to pull this one out, guys. We're not playing very well right now. We're not at full strength. I know the Falcons aren't that good, but they're still playing for a lot because they still theoretically could win their division. Again, I don't trust Tyler Huntley to get the job done. So I think that the Ravens, we're going to make it nice and interesting and try to, screw up our playoff hopes. And I think the Falcons are going to get this win 19-16. Another sloppy offensive performance for us. Falcons win 19-16. Next game, guys, we have the 7-7 Lions at the 5-9 Panthers. Lions, arguably maybe the hottest team in football if it's not the Jaguars. Those two are neck and neck for hottest team in football right now. Actually, I lied. It's a 3-way tie. Hottest teams, Lions, Jaguars, and Bengals. Anyways, Lions, as I just said, cooking right now. Clicking on all cylinders. The offense is playing a lot better. The defense is playing better. I think they're, again, a very well-coached team. I like Dan Campbell. I think he's got a great demeanor. I think he's a great team motivator, and I really like his stuff. And the Lions, hey, even if they miss out on the playoffs this year, this season was still a success. A lot of bright spots. Again, there's a lot of bright spots, young talent, well-coached team, and I think that next year they will definitely make the playoffs. Anyways, the Panthers, they're 5-9, but hey, they still have a lot to play for, man. The NFC South this year is just so bad. So if they can win and they can still get in the playoffs, they can win their division. The only team that will make the playoffs in that division is the team that wins it. There definitely won't be any secondary teams, but the Panthers could still win that division very well because the Bucs lost last week to the Bengals. The Falcons are 5-9. The Panthers are 5-9. The Saints, are they 4-10? We'll find out later. But regardless, the Panthers still very well could win that division, believe it or not. So they're still fighting. But I think the Lions are going to get this win, man. It's, again, a lot about what teams get hot at the right time. The Lions are the hot team right now. They're playing well. They're on a roll. They still have a glimmer of hope to make the playoff. So give me the Lions winning this game, guys, 24-17. Next game, guys, we have the 11-3 Bills at the 3-11 Bears. So the Bills, obviously, they officially clinched the playoff berth last week with a win over Miami. But they're still gonna keep trying because they're fighting for higher seeds. They still could get the number. I think they're actually the number 1 seed right now, so they want to maintain that. The Bears, meanwhile, again, I do think they're better than their record indicates. They are 3-11, but they have played several teams tough. They played the Eagles pretty tough last week. They only lost by 5 points. Justin Fields, I think, is getting better and better every week. I don't know if his future is in Chicago because the Bears, I don't think they have a good front office. I don't think they're well coached. So I'm not sure if Fields is really going to be able to thrive in Chicago. He might need to go to a different team. But regardless, he is showing flashes, and I do think he's getting a lot better. He got off to a rough start this year, but he has improved for sure. It's in Chicago, so that helps. The Bears are much better at home than on the road. But the Bills should still be able to take care of business here. They're, again, a much better team. They're playing really well right now. Josh Allen is locked in. They finally won't have to play in the snow because Orchard Park, they just are the hot spot for snow right now. Anyways, the Bills should be able to get this win. They know they're hot right now, as I said. They're going to continue to fight to maintain that number 1 seed. It's going to be Buffalo winning this game 31-14. Next game, guys, we have so the Saints are 5-9 as well. 5-9 Saints at the 6-8 Browns. So wow, this is a very, very interesting matchup here. So the Saints 5-9, but hey, they still could win their division. They still very much have a chance. The Browns, meanwhile, they won't win the division. Yeah, no, it's officially impossible for them. Wait, is it? Yes, it's officially impossible for the Browns to win the division because the Bengals are 10-4. The best that the Browns could be is 9-8. Now the best the Bengals could be is 10-7. So yes, the Browns will not be winning the division, but they still have a slim chance of getting in the playoffs. Obviously, they got that win over Baltimore last week when I was in attendance. You just hate to see that. Defensively, they played pretty well, and of course, it was against the Ravens and with Tyler Huntley. But hey, a win is a win, as I always say. They do find themselves, I think Deshaun Watson, he didn't do much last week, but it's just part of getting used to a new team. You're going to have these quiet games. You're going to need your defense to help you out. So I don't think it's any cause for concern, and I don't think anyone should have been, anyways, expecting a giant year for Deshaun Watson. It's going to take a while for him to settle in. I think next year will be his big year to shine. A must-win for the Browns, obviously. And give me Cleveland winning this game. The Browns are banged up, to be fair. Jadeveon Clowney is inactive. I know John Johnson is dealing with some injuries. But at the same time, their offensive line is healthy. They just extended Jack Conklin, by the way. I saw that on Twitter earlier today. Nick Chubb is obviously having another huge year. He's just, it's like clockwork with him. So if they can continue to run the ball, the Saints are always banged up. I think the Browns are going to be able to win this game. They're at home as well. It's going to be Cleveland winning this game, guys, 27-17. Next game, guys, we have the 7-7 Seahawks at the 11-3 Chiefs. So the Seahawks, obviously, cold right now. They have really fallen off after a rather promising start. Geno Smith has still been pretty good. He's having a really good year, but besides that, everything that was going well in the first half has not really gone so well. The defense hasn't been as good. Smith's weapons have not been as good. The Chiefs, meanwhile, it's a battle. It's a battle between them and Buffalo for the number 1 seed. But the Bills have it right now because they have the tiebreaker over Kansas City. They beat them earlier this year. So this should be a decent game. But the Chiefs are hot right now. They're playing really good football. They're at home. I think, again, we're really starting to see the Chiefs that we saw from 2018 through 2020. The Seahawks are not playing very well. The Chiefs should be able to win this game pretty easily. Give me Kansas City winning this game, guys, 34-17. Next game, guys, we have the 8-5-1 Giants at the 11-3 Vikings. This should be a good game. For a lot of reasons. One, the Giants, they're starting to maybe come alive again. They got off to that great start. They were, 5-1, 6-1 at one point? Then they fell off, and you were starting to think, okay, are they just a total fluke? But then now they've started to get it back going again. They had a nice win against the Commanders last week. I know there's a lot of disputes. I know the officiating was bad, but hey, a win is a win, and they still played them tough. So I'll give the Giants credit where it's due. So the Giants are still decent. You can't count them out yet. But the problem is they have a big-time uphill battle in that division. That division is so good this year because the Eagles, of course, have already clinched it, I think. The Cowboys are in second place, and then it's a battle between the Giants and the Commanders. But the Giants, with that huge win over the Commanders last week, really improves their chances for staying ahead of them. But I don't know if 3 teams from the NFC East are going to fit in. I don't know how that's going to happen. If the Giants win out, they'll probably get in, but that's a really tough task here against the Vikings. But the Vikings, it really, I don't know what to make of the Vikings right now, man. They are just the craziest team. Go down 33-0 at home against the Colts last week. They looked horrible, and then they stormed back and somehow pulled that out. So you're feeling good about that win, of course, but there's still a lot of issues with the Vikings. I think defensively they are very exploitable, and offensively they're inconsistent. Obviously they have a lot of big names. Justin Jefferson, who's just amazing, but Cousins, it's just all over the place. Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, they're both inconsistent. They're generally good, but they can have some times where they just disappear. But it's in Minnesota. I know the Vikings, again, are a weird team and hard to predict, but I do think they're the better all-around team. I don't trust the Giants to, I am taking Kirk Cousins over Daniel Jones, and I also think the Giants, they did win on the road last week, but generally they're not that good on the road. So give me the Vikings winning this game in a close one, 27-24. Next game, guys, we have the 10-4 Bengals at the 7-7 Patriots. This should be a really good game. Joe Burrow, first time. It's his first time playing the Patriots, I think, isn't it? I don't think he's played the Patriots yet, as far as I know. So with that in mind, again, this should be a really good game. The Bengals, of course, one of the hottest teams in football right now, if not the hottest. They've won, 5, 6 in a row. They were after the first half last week against Tampa Bay, it was looking like they were maybe going to finally lose their winning streak, but no, they just, again, like the Vikings, they just stormed back in the second half and absolutely dominated. The Patriots, meanwhile, lost in the most pathetic way possible last week against the Raiders. Like the failed lateral pick 6. I don't know what Jacoby Myers was doing. He threw it right to Chandler Jones. Mac Jones didn't want to make the tackle. That was just horrendous. But another thing that's flying under the radar is, yes, that was pathetic, but also the Patriots defense absolutely sold in the end. They let the Raiders drive down the field, score a touchdown to get themselves in that position. That let them tie the game, and then of course the Patriots tried to go for broke and they screwed themselves. However, it's in New England. It is an absolute must win for the Patriots. The Bengals still want to win, obviously. They can't just pump the brakes right now. They need to keep going. But it is a must win for the Patriots. They do have Bill Belichick. He has not faced Burrow yet. So I don't know. I might be blanking, but I don't think Joe Burrow has faced the Patriots yet, as far as I know. So I don't really know what to make of that, because part of me thinks, okay, Belichick is going to get the better of Burrow because they haven't faced each other yet. But then I also could see, Burrow getting the better of Belichick first because he doesn't really know how to face him. But also, the Patriots, I think, are somewhat of a difficult matchup for Cincinnati because they do have at least a decent pass defense. I don't think their defense is that good in general, but I do think their pass defense is stronger than their run defense. So, the Bengals obviously are a pass-first team. So, I kind of want to say that the Patriots pull off the upset, but at the same time, let's look at the Patriots' offense. It has been pretty bad lately. It was okay last week against the Raiders, but it also was the Raiders. Their defense sucks, but they don't have a good play caller. Matt Patricia is not good at all. Jones has not been playing well. The Bengals' defense is inconsistent, but I still think it's better than the Patriots' offense rankings-wise. So, as much as I could see the Patriots winning this game, I am going to go with Cincinnati. They're hot right now. I think they have a really good defense. I really think I think that just no one wants to play them right now. So give me Cincinnati pulling this one out. I think it's going to be a good game, though. Give me Cincinnati winning 24-20. Somewhat of a low-scoring game, but Cincinnati pulls it out. Next game, guys, we have the 1-12-1 Texans at the 7-7 Titans. Believe it or not, the Texans, was there one win against the Titans? I don't even know. But regardless, the Texans have been known to give the Titans a hard time. However, on the flip side, the big theme for the Texans and Titans, Derrick Henry absolutely owns the Texans. It's I was looking at some stats the other day. It was 4 straight games. Henry has over 200 yards rushing per game against Houston. It's just crazy. The Texans cannot stop Derrick Henry. However, the Texans have been known to give the Titans a hard time. However, on the flip side, the big theme for the Texans and Titans, Derrick Henry absolutely owns the Texans. It's like I was looking at some stats the other day. It was 4 straight games. Henry has over 200 yards rushing per game against Houston. It's just crazy. The Texans cannot stop Derrick Henry. However, now is a good time to play the Titans because they are spiraling out of control. They've lost. Ryan Tannehill is out for perhaps the rest of the regular season with an ankle injury. Derrick Henry is there, but it's now going to be Malik Willis. Their receiving weapons are not that good. Their defense is okay, but the Titans find themselves in a desperate situation right now. An absolute must-win for the Titans. They have to win this game, and I think they will. I know the Texans have given the Titans a hard time in the past, but I think the Titans are going to pull this one out. It's a must-win. Malik Willis is going to be motivated to prove the haters wrong. They still have Derrick Henry. So give me the Titans winning this game, guys, 31-24. Next game, guys, we have the 7-6-1 Commanders at the 10-4 49ers. So the Commanders took a tough loss to the the Giants last week on Sunday Night Football. The Niners, meanwhile, are playing, really well. Whoever it is, a quarterback, put them in, man, because we can roll with them. They are doing a really nice job of just plugging and playing quarterbacks, and it's working. I mean, I know originally it was Trey Lance, then it was Jimmy Garoppolo, but no, now it's Brock Purdy, and he's been doing his job. He hasn't been popping off, but again, he's been getting the job done. I do think it's going to come back to bite them in the playoffs. I think eventually, the game is going to come down to Brock Purdy having to, lead a charge. And I don't think he's going to be able to do it. But hey, for now, they're fine. And the Niners have a great defense. Offensively, they're good. They do have to, make sure they stay healthy, of course. Deebo Samuel, I think, is still out with that ankle sprain, but he should be back pretty soon. And then, of course, they have Christian McCaffrey, a good offensive line, George Kittle, who is just an absolute monster when he's healthy. It's in San Francisco. The Niners are much better at home than on the road. The Commanders are not feeling great after that loss last week against the Giants. So give me the Niners winning this game, guys, 24-13. Okay, guys, this is our America's Game of the Week. We have the 13-1 Eagles at the 10-4 Cowboys, NFC East showdown. This should be a very good game. However, there is a catch. Philadelphia, no Jalen Hurts tomorrow. He is dealing with a shoulder sprain, I think it is. It's not super serious, but I think out of precautionary reasons, they're going to hold him out for this game. The Eagles have obviously already clinched a playoff berth, but they have not clinched the division yet, I don't think, because the worst they can go is 13-4. The best the Cowboys can go is 13-4. So if they win out, I think if the Cowboys win out and the Eagles lose out, I think there can still be a battle. So regardless, the Eagles are still trying. That's my point here. But meanwhile, the Cowboys are pretty demoralized after managing to choke that game to the Jaguars last week. That was really embarrassing. But, it's still, they still had some flashes. They still had some good things. Their offense played pretty well up until the end where they sold. But I don't know where their defense went. Their defense had really come a long way this year, and I think it's been much improved. But they absolutely sold against the Jaguars last week. They did not play well at all. Granted, the Jaguars' offense is pretty good. It's in Dallas, which helps. The Cowboys are much better at home than on the road. But I don't know, man. The Eagles are just really doing their thing right now. I know they've lost once, and they have had a couple rough games here and there, but they have also dominated some good teams. And they are on the road. This might be pathetic. I actually don't know who their backup quarterback is. We'll have to find out tomorrow. But it's not Jalen Hurts. I know Jalen Hurts is out. But then but their backup quarterback still is going to have a lot of options, of course. So, you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Miles Sanders, a good offensive line. An up and down defense, but still with some big names. They're a well-coached team. I think the Eagles are going to win this game, guys. The Cowboys are, I think, going to fall off toward the end of the season like they usually do. They'll sneak into the playoffs, I'm sure, but they're not going to go far. I'm telling you, they are never going to go far with Dak Prescott at quarterback. So give me the Eagles winning this game, guys, at a close one, 31-28. Okay, guys, this is our primetime game for tomorrow night. We have the 6-8 Raiders at the 6-8 Steelers. So, the Raiders still have a glimmer, and I mean a glimmer of hope for the playoff this year. It's very unlikely, but it's not out of the question. Steelers, meanwhile, exact same thing. Glimmer of hope, not out of the question, but quite unlikely. So the Raiders, of course, won in that crazy fashion against the Patriots last week. The Steelers, they beat the Panthers last week on the road. Mitchell Trubisky, actually, he had to step in because Pickett was out. Trubisky played okay, actually. I was pretty impressed. It's in Pittsburgh, which obviously helps. The Steelers are much better at home than on the road. I don't really know who to go with here. It's a must-win for both teams. I think both teams have been playing a lot better in the second half of the season. But Kenny Pickett is back for the Steelers, as far as I know. So with that in mind, this is a tough one actually, because I really see the argument for both sides. Part of me says the Raiders because they're desperate for a win. And you could argue that they're playing for their head coach because I'm not sure Josh McDaniels is going to stay next year. And they still have a glimmer of hope for the playoffs. But the Steelers are kind of the same way. I mean, they could be playing for Mike Tomlin's job, but also it's a must-win for them. They still have a glimmer of hope to make the playoffs. It's in Pittsburgh. So because it's in Pittsburgh, because the Steelers are healthier now than they were, I'm going to have to get the extra Pittsburgh on this one. The Raiders, too, are much better at home than on the road. So give me the Steelers. Almost went out in a close game. Let's go with the Steelers 20-17, but it should be a pretty good game. Okay, guys, now we're into our triple header on Christmas Day. We have the 6-8 Packers and the 8-6 Dolphins. This is really the one interesting game on Christmas Day. Then next year, we're kind of meh, if you ask me. But anyways, the Packers, a must-win for them. They are coming off a very nice win against the Rams last week. That was maybe their best game of the season. I think it was very complete. They played well on offense, and they played well on defense. I mean, granted, the Rams kind of suck this year, but hey, a win is a win. I thought the Packers looked pretty good. Dolphins, meanwhile, they're 8-6, but that is a flaky 8-6 because they have definitely been spiraling out of control. They've been all over the place this year. They've looked great. They've looked bad. They've looked great. They've looked bad. But they are, it's a must-win for them. They got to stop. After dropping that game to Buffalo last week, they did put up a good fight, mind you. It's not like they got blown out, but they need to get their winning streak back on track, and it's going to be a tough task because the Packers are playing better right now. They're hot. It's a must-win for them. They, too, hanging on to a glimmer of hope that they can make the playoffs. It's unlikely, but it's possible. It's in Miami. This is another game that's kind of tough to predict because the Packers again are hot right now. The Dolphins are not, but at the same time, the Dolphins are desperate for a win. They're very explosive on offense, and they're at home, much better at home than on the road. So give me Miami pulling this one out. I think they're again desperate for a win. They know they need to stay ahead of the pace. I think that that wide receiver duo is going to give the Packers secondary a really hard time. So give me the Dolphins pulling this one out, guys. Let's go with Miami 27-24, but it should be a very good game. Okay, guys, this is our second game on Christmas Day. We have the 4-10 Broncos at the 4-10 Rams. So the Broncos, obviously, got their season. Biggest underperforming team of the season, probably. They have just not been playing well at all. Russell Wilson having a career worst year. Rams, meanwhile, had that one little glimmer of hope after they pulled out the Thursday night football win against, I think it was the Raiders, but regardless, Mayfield played a really good game. But right back to square one against the Packers last week. Mayfield did not play well. The Rams just did not play well in general. They're really banged up. This is the battle of mid. In fact, mid is even generous. It's more of the battle of garbage. But you know what? With it being in LA, Baker Mayfield playing for pride, the Rams just playing for pride in general. The Broncos are pretty demoralized. I guess I'll go with the Rams. Give me the Rams pulling this one out, guys. Let's go with LA 24-17. Okay, guys, this is our last game on Christmas Day. We have the 6-8 Buccaneers at the 4-10 Cardinals. So the Bucs 6-8, but they still lead the charge in the division. Obviously, it would have been nice if they could have held on against the Bengals last week, but no, they decided to absolutely sell. The Cardinals, meanwhile, 4-10, obviously not their year. No more Kyler Murray because he tore his ACL. DeAndre Hopkins is there, but he can only do so much when you have backup quarterbacks in the game. I also heard today that there's a good chance that Cliff Kingsbury is going to step down. Whether he gets fired or not remains to be seen, but chances are he's not going to be the coach of the Cardinals next year. So the Cardinals are going to play for Cliff Kingsbury's job, I think. Just play, again, they're playing for pride. But at the same time, the Bucs are desperate for a win. I still think they're the better team. They know they still are on track to win that division. So give me Tampa Bay winning this game, guys. Let's go with Tampa Bay 27-14. Okay, guys, this is our last game, Monday Night Football. We have the 8-6 Chargers at the 4-9-1 Colts. So this is going to be interesting because both teams, it really depends on what team we see. Do we see the good Chargers or the bad Chargers? The good Colts or the bad Colts? The Chargers are playing better for sure. Herbert has been playing better. I think their defense has been playing better. Aren't they on a little streak? I think they've won 2 in a row. They are coming off a nice win against the Titans last week. I remember that. So the Chargers are feeling pretty good about themselves. Health is obviously a big question mark because their receivers, when healthy, they're very good. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, but they have a really hard time staying on the field. Colts, meanwhile, I don't know what their deal is, man, because they were so dominant last week for the first half, we'll say, against the Vikings, up 33-0. And they somehow managed to sell. It is the Matt Ryan curse, bro. You can't hold on to a lead with Matt Ryan at quarterback. It was the same issue with the Falcons, and it's still happening when he's with the Colts. I don't get it. He brought that over somehow. And then the Colts are without Jonathan Taylor for the rest of the year. He went down with another ankle injury. I think they said there would be a chance to be able to come back for the very end of the season, but there's really no point. The Colts season is over, and there's no need to risk Taylor getting re-injured. So Taylor is out for the year, as far as I know. It's in Indianapolis. This will be a close game. The Colts, I will give them credit where it's due. Despite them always choking leads, they do play a lot of teams tough. It's really tough to blow out the Colts. So I think it's going to be a close game. And the Chargers don't blow teams out either. They find ways to make games close. So it's in Indianapolis, which helps. But I think the Chargers are still going to hang on and get this win. They're the better team. They've been playing better lately. They need to keep winning to stay ahead of the pace and keep their playoff hopes alive. So give me the Chargers winning this game, guys. Let's go with the Chargers 28-21. And guys, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to our channel if you are new. And I'm out. Have a great night. Thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to bring in the holidays. Go Ravens, man. Let's see what we can do tomorrow. And I will see you all tomorrow after the Ravens game.